Welcome to dclessons.com. Now we are going to present module 2, Nexus Supervisor module. In the last module, we talked about Nexus 7K chassis, in which we talked about Nexus 7700 and Nexus 7K 1000 chassis and its all the architecture. In this module, we are going to talk about Nexus 7K Supervisor modules. So let's talk about first Nexus 7700 Supervisor module. In the Nexus 7700 Supervisor module, which is the latest extension of the Cisco Nexus 7000 series mod, right? And it supports Supervisor 2E, right? And what do you mean by E? E is meant for Supervisor 2 enhanced module, right? So in the Nexus 7700 Sup 2E, what are its characteristics? So it contains the Intel Xeon processor. It contains 2 quad cores of the CPU having a 2.13 gigahertz. It contains a memory of 32 GB, which on the DDR3. It doesn't have any chassis management processor. The CMP is only on SOUP 1 of Nexus 7K. Right? And this Nexus 7700 Supervisor SOUP 2E works on NXOS software release 6.2. It contains a removable storage, which is on a slot 0 and one USB port on which you can connect the USB. So here is the diagram. In the diagram, you can see that this is the ejector button to put your supervisor inside the chassis, or if you want to take outside, you can do it. These are all the LEDs which provides the status of your supervisor, which is the board status, system status, active standby LED. If the supervisor is active, if the supervisor is standby. Here it is USB, right? It is a slot 0 LED, right? And this is your console port. This is your management port. On the management port, you can connect and you can do the SSH to manage your Nexus 7K. And in the console port, you can connect the console cable and you can access it on a console screen. So in the Nexus 7700, we have only SOUP 2E supported. But if we talk about Nexus 7K, I mean Nexus 7000 supervisor models. So in the Nexus 7K, under a 7000 series switch, there are 3 types of supervisor: SOUP 1, SOUP 2, and SOUP 2E. Only these 3 supervisors are used in the Nexus 7000 series. So in the Nexus 7000 series, if you talk about SOUP 1, SOUP 2, SOUP 2E, the processor is Intel Xeon, right? So let's talk about Supervisor 1. In the Supervisor 1, we have a dual core processor. It doesn't have any quad core. Its speed is 1.66 gigahertz. It has a 8 GB of memory, and it has only a CMP, chassis management processor. So in the next slide, I will tell you what is the CMP, right? And it has a removable storage also. In the SOUP 2, it has a 1 quad core. In the SOUP 2E, it has a 2 quad core. So it has a 1 quad core, and 2E has a 2 quad core, and the speed is same. The memory is, in the SOUP 2, it has 12 gigabit memory, and in the SOUP 2E, it has a 32 GB memory. Okay, and NVRAM is of 2 MB for battery backup. And in the Nexus 7K, SOUP 2 and SOUP 2E, there is no CMP processor, right? And it supports NXOS 6.2 plus NXOS operating system series. So only thing you have to remember is that on all Nexus SOUP 1, SOUP 2, SOUP 2E, Xeon processor is there. Nexus 7K contains SOUP 1, which is having a dual core, SOUP 2 and SOUP 2E having a 1 quad core and 2 quad core. SOUP 2 contains 12 GB of memory and SOUP 2E contains 32 GB of memory. Now here a pictorial view of Nexus 7K SOUP 1. So see here I am talking only about the CMP. Why? Because everything, the management port, console port, aux port, and the ejector module, your USB port, flash flash memory, all are the same. Now let's talk about the CMP. What is CMP? CMP is a chassis management processor. So it is only used when your out of band management OOB fails and OOB is connected via MGMT port. So this is your management port. If this fails or if your supervisor hangs, it's not responding. So with the help of CMP, you can log in it. It contains a dedicated IP address which is routed to your network. You can connect to your IP addresses which is configured on the CMP port, Ethernet port. You can connect it. You can log into the supervisor. You can restart your supervisor. You can power down your supervisor. You can, in the case of freeze or anything else, you can access to your supervisor by another method. So here you can assume that if this CMP is on same supervisor and if your supervisor is not responding, then how are you able to connect to your CMP? So in the CMP has a different chip. It contains a different chip which is having a different CPU other than your main supervisor. It has a separate memory and it has a separate port. So it all contains in a single chip which is inserted in a supervisor. So it doesn't have much relation with your original CPU and your original memory. If your if your main CPU, if your memory does not responding, if your management port is not responding, if your supervisor is not responding, you can log in via CMP port and you can restart your supervisor, you can reload your switch, you can do anything. But it is the CMP port is only available on SOUP 1. From the SOUP 2 and the SOUP 2E, it doesn't support CMP. So if you talk about, it has a reset button, right? It has a USB. These are the two USB. This is your USB host port. On a slot 0, it is slot 1. This is your management port. This is your console port. This is your LED. So this is the pictorial view of SOUP 2 and SOUP 2E. So in the nutshell, Nexus 7700 only support Supervisor 2E. 7000 supports SOUP 1 2E. It is having dual core, 8 GB RAM. It is having one quad core, 12 GB RAM. It is having two quad core and 32 GB RAM. So only these three things you have to learn about. So now we have talked about Nexus 7700 supervisor engine. We talked about Nexus 7000 supervisor engine. So again, thank you for watching module 2 Nexus supervisor module.